So please welcome to the webinar series on the research book series entitled Exploring Buddhist Social Work, brought to you by Asian Research Institute for International Social Work at Shukutoku University, Japan. And my name is Josef Gohori, and I will be serving as your moderator today. Today, I'm very happy to welcome our colleagues from Sri Lanka, Venerable Omalpe Somananda and Venerable Narada, who both will provide us with their presentation on past and present of Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. After the presentation, I hope that Professor Tatsuru Akimoto and Dr. Higashida will provide us with some comments from Japanese research team. So I think we have a lot of work to do and a lot of things to share today. So I don't want to waste our time, and I would like to push the microphone to Venerable Somananda and ask him to start with his presentation. So Somananda Sensei, please start with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor Joseph Gohori. And while organizing this research series and the discussion, and I would like to welcome you all participants to our discussion and the presentation. I would like to share my presentation, which I have prepared today, our discussion. And our today objective is to introduce and have a common discussion about Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka, past and present book. Actually, this will be some book review discussion, and one way this will be some educational discussion. And Buddhist social work research network, ARIISW, and webinar series 5, exploring Buddhist social work. In the brief introduction, today I'm going to present the part 1, part 2, and the part 1 in the chapter 1, part 2, chapter 2, and the chapter 3. In the chapter 3, there are 2 articles. I'm going to have some brief discussion. And Venerable Papil Narada Thero will be continue part 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7. And the whole books we are going to cover within 30 minutes in the brief discussion. Research series number 5, in the books edited by Professor Tatsuru Akimoto, and in this contents, the structure of this book, part 1, Sri Lankan Society Today. There's one article, chapter 1, Understanding of Sri Lankan Society as a premise to understand the Buddhist social work, written by Venerable Somananda is myself. In the part 2, current states of Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. It's chapter 2, 6, good practice, case study, activities and monks in actions, prepared by Professor M.R.D. Herat and Anuradha Wickramasinghe. Chapter 3, there's 2 articles, one current situation of Buddhist social work practice in North Central province in Sri Lanka, special reference to Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa district. This article prepared by Anuradha Wickramasinghe, Chandana Kodituwaku, and Jayatilaka Pereira. And the chapter 3, the second article reanalysis of monks and non-social work practiced by using English translated data. Author Dr. Masateru Higashida. Yes, I would like to pay your attention. Chapter 1, the topics understanding of Sri Lankan society. Without any problem, I can continue because this is my article. If you refer the books, you can find page number 3 to 25. This chapter introduced the basic information about Sri Lanka, mainly to readers from other countries to promote understanding of Sri Lankan society as a premise to understand Buddhist social work. In this chapter has given brief introduction about Sri Lanka biographical area and the statistic populations and the related all the information geographical statistic has provided for to understand Sri Lankan situation for the readers from outside the country. It has described other national geographic, political, economic and demographic overview, social condition and the problem, Buddhism and current social work practice, Buddhist universities and other educational programs, and governmental and non-governmental organizations which related to Buddhism in Sri Lanka and Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. If you are continuing in the brief, Sri Lanka is officially Democratic Society Republic of Sri Lanka is an island country in South Asia, located in the Indian Oceans to the southwest of the Bay, in the Bengal and the southeast to Arabic Sea. There are some statistics in the geographical situation of Sri Lanka. Buddhism in Sri Lanka, we call it is Theravada Buddhist country. In the two different scholars in Buddhism, especially we call it is Theravada and Mahayana. You have experience in Japan and some Eastern country is more popular Buddhism, we call Mahayana Buddhism. Especially in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Myanmar, we call it is Theravada country. Sri Lanka is a Theravada Buddhism, is the official religion of Sri Lanka with about 70% of the country population in the Buddhism. Buddhism has been considered as the state religion in Sri Lanka and has been given the special privilege to Sri Lankan constitution, such as government protections and the fostering of Buddhist Dhamma. However, the constitution also provides freedom of religion and the right to equality among all its citizens as well. It has mentioned in this book, preface has written by Professor Tatsuru Akimoto. He has mentioned in Sri Lankan Constitution Act number and the Parliament Act, all the statistics in the page number, you can see in the page number 7. In social work situation in Sri Lanka, social work education started in Sri Lanka in 1952. It means now almost nearly 70 years all in Sri Lankan social work. Social work is very old, but in the Western rooted professional social work is Sri Lankan experience nearly 70 years. Through it has a long history, the growth of social work education has been very slow in Sri Lanka, and it is not expanded to the all over the country yet. The Sri Lanka School of Social Work at the National Institute of Social Development, which is functioning under the preview of the Ministry of Social Service, is the leading institution that provides professional social work education in the country. But now situation has changed. However, the University of Peradeniya and the University of Colombo have recently started master degree in course in social work, MSW, Master of Social Work. In Peradeniya already had been started in the second year now. In Colombo University, they are going to start master, but they already started course unit in social work. In Sri Jayawardenepura is one must very popular university in Sri Lanka, and they are going to start Western social work degree course separate. Now the recruitment procedure is over. Now they are developing the curricula. The program is going on. In this book, the article main task is to introduce opportunities for establishing Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. There are facilities in Sri Lanka for the installation of Buddhist social work. They can be divided mainly into governmental and non-governmental organizations. However, these institutions help establish Buddhist social work in the country. The detail of these agencies and organizations will be given below. In a governmental organization, especially in universities, Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka, Bhikkhu University in Anuradhapura, is good opportunity to establish, to leading the Buddhist social work in Sri Lankan context. In the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, under the section we call it is Department of Buddhist Affairs, it is a good opportunity. In the Pirivana means monk school in Sri Lanka. We have separate monks only for the monks, young monks to study. We call it is Pirivana. Total number of Pirivana in Sri Lanka at present 787. All the monks university student will be Buddhist monks, and the teachers already Buddhist monk. Some lay men also in the teachers in the monks school in the Pirivana. And these are the information in relevant to governmental organization. And I would like to pay your attention, non-governmental organization in Sri Lanka is good opportunity to get the help to establish Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. Buddhist monastery all over the country established in a Buddhist temple, located all the community running under the help of the community people. We have in Sri Lanka Buddhist temple 12,239 Buddhist temple in Sri Lanka. Especially in Sri Lanka, nuns temples are also available. In the nun temple, 588 altogether. We have in Sri Lanka all the Buddhist temple 12,827. It means good opportunity in Sri Lanka. It means all over the village are available in the Buddhist temple. Easily we can cultivate our Buddhist social work concept into the community through Buddhist temple. Sunday Dhamma School is good opportunity. It is a voluntary based organization, and all the teachers are giving their service in the voluntarily. Every Sunday morning Dhamma School is functioning. In Sinhala medium and English medium, there are two types of Dhamma School in Sri Lanka. We have altogether Dhamma school 10,116, and there are teachers, and more than 1 lakh teachers are there, and students more than 2 million students are studying in Dhamma school. It is a good opportunity because in the Buddhist social work, if you want to train the school, Dhamma school teachers as Buddhist social workers, we can send our message easily to the community. Even some community-based organization in Mitro Drug Rehabilitation Center in Sri Lanka, All Ceylon Buddhist Congress, All Ceylon Buddhist Women's Congress, Sri Bodhiraja Foundation, it is Amblipitia in Sri Lanka, the Kalutara Bodhi Trust, and many community-based organizations are doing many research, many activities in related to social work in Sri Lanka. And these are the summary of the first article in our Sri Lankan volume, Buddhist Social Work in Sri Lanka, Past and Present. I would like to pay your attention in the part 2. In this book, part 2, chapter 1, and 6 good practice case studies. It's very marvelous case studies. I found this book, Activities and the Monks and Action. You can see the page 29 to 51. In between there are all the information in this book, research book, the article. Professor Herath and the Anuradha Wickramasinghe, their author. In the summary of the research, page number 30, the main objective of this article is to identify what Buddhist temple actually doing in the social work field. It's one objective in this research article. In the second, to share the information who are doing the same or similar activities in the regions. The third objective of this article, to build the foundation of Buddhist social work. These are the main objective, but there are many objectives they have written by their article. We can have a discussion later. They have been used the method, the research has used the case study method. They have been used. They have been selected 10 temple and 6 case studies. Within the 10 temple, they are case number 1, a crime prevention program. Case number 2, spiritual, moral, and economic development in the colony village. Case number 3, divisional and the district level social work activities beyond the village level. Case study number 4, the reductions of poverty and illiteracy. Case study number 5, the kidney disease and the ethics integration promotion program. Case number study 6, family and psychological counseling program. These are the 6 case study. All the information we can see with the detail while reading these books. Their findings, reflection on 6 case study, page number 48. I have been quote some summary. The researchers' opinion is that the Eastern concept of social work is totally different concept compared to the Western social work concept. It means there are some debates, and they are have been through based on their study. Their main debates easily can compare Western social work and Eastern social work is separate. I don't know how we can do it, but according to their opinion, they have been seen differently in the Western social work and Eastern social work. Maybe they will try to explain because of the Buddhism and the Buddhist scenario will make some changes in Eastern social work. In the Buddhism-based practical social work program should be studied separately as a foundation of social concept which substantially differ from each other. They are suggesting in this article to study in a separate. Western social work is separate and Buddhist social work is separate. But my personal point of view as a reader, if you want to understand in the Buddhist social work in deep, firstly, we had to study Western social work because Western social work is scientific and well organized, and there are many research articles and the many activities, scholars' activities have been published within understanding of Western concept, and especially in what is social work is separate. Then only we can go to depth in the Buddhist concept. But according to their author, they has given their suggest to understand the Buddhism-based practice social work program should be studied in separate. And this is the summary of their article. Then according to our time framework, I would like to pay your attention part number 3, chapter 3, data collection as a prerequisite for curricular design, Buddhist social work, higher education, practice-based research. This also conducted by Anuradha Wickramasinghe, Chandana Kurituwaku, Jayatilaka Pereira. And the objective of this their article, to main purpose of this study is to identify the background needed to build the introduce Buddhist social work education in Sri Lanka and Buddhist social work curricular development. I think they have been done the research to get some basic concept and the idea in to understand Sri Lanka situation and the opportunity and the views from the community, to listening their feedback to get some idea to develop curricula. That is the objective they have mentioned in this book. Summary of the article: the reality of Buddhist social work value system, which are always practicing Buddhist monk and nun, fit with the universally accepted philosophy of social work. All 266 of the temple studied and 140 of the nuns monasteries were engaged in one or several activities for the welfare of people. Diversity and variety of activities listed in the identified Buddhist social work. This is their had given the summary. According to their point of view and the summary of their data, and they are explained that almost all the temple where they conduct the information are practicing social welfare and social work related to activity based on the temple. And they have been mentioned in the what are the activities they are conducting in the particular temple in this book. Page number 64 to 65 in that activities and the summary you can see while reading this book. And also they already explained the Buddhist social work curricula, page number 83. 83, they are mentioned some summary of the Buddhist social work curricula in the topics, Introduction to Buddhist Social Work, BSW 101, Social Philosophy, History, Value System and Diversity in the second topics. In the human behavior, within bracket they are mentioning psychological and sociological aspect of counseling. DSW 104, Contemporary Society. BSW 105, Social Policy, Social Development and Social Resource. BSW 106, Research Method in Social Work. DSW 107, Project Management, Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. DSW 108, International Social Work Perspective and Engineers Perspective and the Approaches. DSW 109, Social Work Practice with Individual, Families, Groups. And the last, DSW 110, Language and Computer Literacy. They have been developed the curricula in Buddhist social work based on their research activity and the understanding. This is the summary of the part 3. Then I would like to pay your attention the chapter 3, second article, author written by Masateru Higashida, reanalysis of monks and the non-social work practice by using English translated data. In the discussion, he has mentioned page number 105. I have been noted some point from the summary of his article. And he have been mentioned this research found that monks and nuns interviewed were like to be satisfied with their practice from their psychological perspective. The majority of interviews reported that their Buddhist social work practice were important and contributed to society. Although some interviews suggest that necessity of improvements and the development of their practice. And that is the mentioned by the discussion in this article. Then the conclusion has given by the author Higashida, page number 107. I would like to quote the little summary. Despite these data limitation and the preliminary character, this research will contribute to the better understanding of Buddhist social work in rural in Sri Lanka, and will have implication for it in other fields. The finding, in fact, reveal the current situation of Sri Lankan Buddhist social work practice comprehensively using self-reported data by the monks and the nuns. In the particular, this research project discover and recorded their background, activities and subjective experience that some challenge the past. And very important recommendation has given by the author. I recommended that future practice-based research on Buddhist social work explore some of the practical aspects identified in the research in Sri Lanka as well other countries. This is the summary of his article has been given. This is my part to share today based on the Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka past and present book. I going to wind off my discussion. We can go to some discussion until up to the chapter 1 to chapter 3. Then we can continue in the next chapter, or otherwise I can continue. What is the suggestion, the Professor Gohori?
Oh, Venerable Somananda, thank you very much for introducing the first part of your book. Thank you very much again. And I'd like suggest continuing in presentation, because at the end I think that Professor Akimoto and Dr. Higashida will provide us with some comments. So I think it would be better to continue with the presentation, and then at the end have some comments, share some comments and insights from other participants.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Josef Gohori Sensei. And actually, this is prepared by Venerable Papilio Narabatero. Unfortunately, he was busy today, busy schedule with the examination department in Sri Lanka. There's some confidence activities they are doing, so that he asked me to continue. He already started with chapter 6 because of the chapter 6, his article, chapter 6, we see that chapter 6, yes, chapter 6, Sri Lankan monk social work process while disproving Weber's statement in Buddhism is an asocial religion. And it is very good article to read and listen in. Buddhist teaching against Weber attitudes in this article. It is a very good analytical article to read and listen in. And the Buddhist teaching which lead for Weber's misunderstanding. Early Buddhist teaching attempt for social work. Sri Lankan monks career in social work and social welfare. Foremost social work characters in Sri Lanka. These are the brief introduction. His article has covered all the information. And Weber arguing against Buddhist. According to the Weber, Buddhism is asocial. It is not the social. And he was refer some books and the research. And while based on his research, he has conclude the summary: Buddhism is asocial. And Weber has used to his attitudes, Buddhist teaching against Weber's attitudes. And Venerable Narada has referred some Sutta Pitaka and the some Sutta to against the Weber's idea. And so that he has mentioned Agganya Sutta, Vasetta Sutta, Puttadanta Sutta, Chakkavati Sihanada Sutta, Singala Sutta, Vyaggapadya Sutta, Mahamangala Sutta, Vasala Sutta, Parabhava Sutta, and Singala Sutta. In these books, you can refer in the summary of the Sutta. And he was against the Weber's ideology. And he has criticized the Weber's idea based on the Buddhist ideology, in the real Buddhist ideology. The Buddhist teaching which lead to Weber's misunderstanding, the Dhamma preach for 30 prince named as Bhagavad Gita. Muni Sutta, and Khaggavisana Sutta, the characteristics of Arahat, and what the Weber went through the Muni Sutta, and he was explained Muni Sutta, because Muni Sutta pay more attention to the self salvation, not the social. Muni Sutta more Buddha has given Muni Sutta to more concentration to the person self salvation. It means to Nibbana. Our ultimate goal is to reach the Nibbana. The Muni Sutta has pay more attention to how we'll reach the Nibbana. And while analyzing the Muni Sutta, Weber explained that Buddhism is asocial. There is no social. And there are some information in the Weber has explained. And Reverend Narada, who is the author of this article, has provided information based on these characteristics. And in the Buddhism, two areas of Buddhist lifetime, the first period and the post period in the Buddhism. There are many teachings. Two purpose of Dhamma practicing, and in the purpose of spiritual liberation, and in the purpose of social or mandate liberation. In the Buddhism, we can divide into two different aspects. One is self-liberation or self-salvation. In the second aspect, in the social life. Without understanding, without reading the material or the source or Buddha doctrine related to social practice, Weber has studied only the self-salvation. And based on his understanding, he explained that Buddhism is asocial. And Venerable Narada argued that it is wrong, it is misunderstanding. And Buddhism has many suttas and concepts in related to social aspect. Then why we call it social asocial? According to Narada article, explained that Buddhism is self-salvation at the same time in the social liberation. And this article is a very important article written by Venerable Narada. He has provided some information. The first social service provided by Buddhist monks were the guide people to an ethical path. Welfare all Brahmin rather. It's one example. Care of Venerable Puttigattatissa. Puttigattatissa is one old Buddhist monks during the Buddha's period. He was suffered with chicken pox. All the body were damaged, the chicken pox. No one go to nearby Puttigattatissa. Every people were rejected, the person. Then finally Lord Buddha went to the temple, meet the Puttigattatissa, and Lord Buddha was the caretaker. And Buddha was himself to the Puttigattatissa. There are many information is available, social aspect, and the Venerable Narada has provided that to prove his argument. Women welfare of Buddhist monks and staying in the certain place during the rain season, post monks connect widely with the laity. Buddhism higher emphasize helping each other, and in this he has quoted his article. And finally, in the second part in this article, Sri Lankan monks carrying social work and social welfare to prove his argument in the current situation in Sri Lanka. Since 30th century BC up to the present, Sri Lanka monks' career was tended to social service on behalf of the good fare of Sri Lankan society. The periods of increase in by Portuguese, Dutch, and the British in the three time, and all the periods of monks came to the fronts, and they did the social service related to activities. War with LTT for 33 years and the present situation, and tsunami disaster. He has explained during the tsunami disaster during 2004, many people were died, many people displaced, many people disaster. During that time, Sri Lankan monks in the temple came fronts and helped voluntarily to the people to overcome their psychosocial problems. Foremost social work character in Sri Lanka, Venerable Ipankamde Saddha Siri Nayakatero, Most Venerable Walpola Vipasite Nayakatero, Venerable Omalpe Sobita Nayakatero, Venerable Pandila Ananda Nayakatero, and Venerable Bodhagama Chandimatero. The old monks in the very popular character in Sri Lanka. He has explained his book, what they are doing in this article. In the conclusion in this article, above is favored detail of the social work carried in Sri Lankan Buddhist monks, and the above is the most prominent. Similarly, whole Buddhist monks in Sri Lanka are social workers that never expect any profit. They are doing voluntarily. When the citizens face the critical situation or difficulties, they came forward to serve their people, even forgetting their own benefits. That is the Sri Lankan monks' real situation in today, how they practice social work. And this is the conclusion of his article. Thank you very much. Today, our discussions, I'm going to wind up. Then now we can move to our discussion. Thank you very much.
Reverend Somananda, thank you very much for your presentation, for the second part of your presentation, and for introducing the complete content of a book on social work, Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. I heard that there are some power cuts in some blackouts today in Sri Lanka, so I'm really happy that Reverend Somananda was able to deliver his whole presentation. So before asking Professor Akimoto and Dr. Higashida to share their comments, I would like to open the floor and for questions. During Reverend Somananda's presentation, the number of participants slightly increased. So I would like to ask our participants to share their comments or ask questions. Oh, we got one question from Gautama Prabhu from India. So please go ahead, unmute yourself, and if possible, please switch your camera on to allow us to see you. If your camera, okay, please go ahead.
Hello, thank you very much, Joseph, for allowing me to speak. I'm just recovering from my COVID, so I kindly accept my apologies for not having my video on.
Oh, I see.
But I could not stop myself in sharing my views. First of all, I need to rejoice the merits of all the participants and also Most Venerable Omalpe Somananda, who has given a wonderful talk and presentation. And I'm glad that he had also referred about great social workers in Sri Lanka, like Omalpe Sobita and a few others. I'm glad that it has been brought. Well, to add on what he has presented in making a comparison with Max Weber's intentions. And I grew up as a Buddhist, and I became I might sound vociferous, I became a radical Buddhist in later stage. So for the perspective of learning social work, I pursued my degree in sociology, and then I went to Social Work Institute. I pursued my master's from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So throughout this journey, I was able to associate with what most Venerable Omalpe was sharing, especially how the Christian forces have completely trivialized the contribution of Buddhism. That's something that I would like to admit here, that the perspectives of Max Weber is more towards, I would say, trivializing the contribution of Buddhism. In fact, in South India, until the late 20th century, we had tremendous amount of contribution from the Buddhist community, which has not been adequately represented anywhere. But whereas the Christian missionaries who have set up lots of social work institutes in India, especially in South, have been, in a way, try to, I would say, co-opt all the human rights activism also into the fold of Christianity. Omalpe Masateru has very well articulated the suttas. I would like to refer, there's one of the greatest, with due respect to most venerable here, that the Buddha's campaign, the first campaign when he addressed this in, in the formation of the Sangha, he said, Charata Bhikkhave Charikam Bahujana Hitaya Bahujana Sukhaya Lokanu Hampaya Thaya Hitaya Sukhaya Deva Manusana. Such a revolutionary statement. You know, we take retreats for each and every word, my friends. So I think that these things have to be incorporated in our Buddhist methodology when we are developing the curriculum or syllabus for Buddhist social work. I would love to be part of it, and I would love to volunteer wherever it is possible. It is a dream come true for me also. So I'm again apologizing that I'm not able to share my video because of my poor health, but I was just excited by the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Gautama Prabhu, thank you very much for your nice comments. Despite the hard situation, I mean, you are recovering from COVID. So thank you very much again for sharing and for a nice comment. Reverend Somananda, would you like to react to Gautama Prabhu's comment? Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. The Gautama Prabhu from India, actually, he's very clear to the Buddhism. And first words of the Buddha, he has explained Charita Bhikkhave Charika, the first social service or social welfare aspect in the Buddhism. To understand the first point is very right, and is clever to provide the comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think we have enough time for one more question. So if you want to ask something, or if you want to share your comment or insights, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and let me know. Oh, great. Oh, Professor Becker, may I ask you? Yeah, please.
If I missed, please forgive me, but I'd like to understand, is most of Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka funded by the government? Is there any government funding, or is it mostly grassroots from the people who donate to the temple? Give us some idea about the funding and financial support, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Kabreka. And yes, in Sri Lanka, governments, we have separate ministry. We call it is Ministry of Buddhism. And under the Ministry of Buddhism, there are so many activities they are conducting to the protect in the Buddhism and the help Buddhist monks and the nuns they are providing many assistance to the temple, and they are providing many scholarship for the Buddhist monks to go abroad and study. Especially in Sri Lanka, we have CBO, community-based organization, to run the Buddhist temple. And our Dhamma school is fully voluntary-based projects run by the people itself. Yes, in Sri Lanka, we have government and non-governmental organization to provide assistance to the Buddhist social work activities. Yeah, thank you very much for your question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I think we have one more question from Chris Hunty Basil.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for it.
Yes, I'm Sister Krishanti from Sri Lanka, and I belong to the Congregation of Good Shepherds and a Roman Catholic. And while I was listening to Reverend, he is my lecturer. I have studied BSW and he was my lecturer. So while I was listening to him, I was thinking how we can apply this approach into our religion, because since we are in Sri Lanka, we are living in a multicultural and a multi-religious country. So while he was explaining how we can use this Buddhist social work in the Dhamma school and teachers and community-based community-based organizations. So we also are conducting community-based child protection programs, and we have Dhamma school also in our sources. So I am thinking how we can, it was really an enlightening experience sharing. So I feel it is very helpful that if we all can get together and practice this, it will be helpful for us, as especially we are living in a multi-religious country. So we will be able to do a better service to the society. So thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, yes, thank you very much, Sister
Yes.
Basil, and I'm very happy to see you. Yes. Yes, we all have social work. We don't have any barriers in the marginalized in the religion, because our religion is social work. We are in the one platform. And in the Buddhist social work, Christian social work, Islamic social work, we no need to think, because all the religion highly motivated to help each other. So we have to have us come together, not to separate. So, but we can study the separate what the religion itself giving idea to understand and motivation to do charity or help each other. The concept we need to understand. In the Buddhist social work point of view, we thinking to search what the Buddha's point of view to use our theory into the practice knowledge to provide the service to the community. It based on Buddhism. Likewise, in the Christian and other religion, all together should to come together to provide the welfare service. Yes, in the temple, in the Buddhist temple, we are providing charity service and Dhamma school and some other welfare services. Even Christian church also providing many service, Dhamma school and other charity service. Yes, we should to come one platform to make a better service to the public. Yes, thank you very much for your comments and your idea.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask Dr. Higashida to share his comments. Dr. Higashida served as editor of Japanese version of the book on Buddhist social work in Sri Lanka. So I would like to ask him to share some of his insights.
Thank you, Dr. Gohori. Ivan. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak at this wonderful meeting. First of all, I would like to express my respect and thanks for all the authors, including Venerable Somananda. I have experience of working in Anuradhapura district in Sri Lanka for 2 years. And through this book and today's discussion, I have newly gained many ideas and insights. In fact, I believe that this book has comprehensive contents with historical and practical perspectives. And today, I found many interesting points, including the relationship with Western-rooted social work, as well as Buddhist social work in multi-religious societies. Today, I'd like to comment on 2 points with some questions. The first one is based on the pragmatic thinking for promoting Buddhist social work activities. Well, although there are different figures, but in my understanding, not all monks are necessarily conducting social work activities in the narrow sense, but hopefully many doing so. For example, Anuradhapura indicates about 70 or 80% conducts social work activities in the narrow sense. But my question is, what factors do make such a difference, or what factors do promote Buddhist social work activities? Where is it related to only education and training, or any other factors such as leadership and shared concepts, anything? Where I'm not sure, but this may be worth exploring. And the second, where there is a viewpoint of residents, beneficiaries, or Buddhist followers. When we talk about social work in the broader sense, we would be always asked about the people who will benefit from social work, like concept of clients in Western social work. I support that there may be different ideas and perspectives about the concept of clients and the beneficiaries from those of Western-rooted social work. And I believe this would be related to relationship between Buddhist social work activities and supported people. Yeah, that is my comment. Thank you very much for listening.
Dr. Higashida, thank you very much for your comments, and thank you very much for providing us with a very important point which should be explored in further research. Thank you very much again. And since we have only 2 minutes left, I would like to ask Professor Akimoto to share also his comments, his insights, and his experience as an editor of the English version of the book. Akimoto Sensei, よろしくお願いします. Please go ahead. Oh, please unmute you. Your microphone is off. Please unmute yourself. Now it's okay.
You go on. 2 minutes. I'll break a little. It can be helped. First of all, I respect the authors. I have thanked very deeply to all authors. This book, I think, is very rich. The meaning of rich is we could learn, we could pump up a lot of aspects, a lot of subjects. But on the other hand, I haven't been satisfied. I'm sorry, I'm not, if I'm impolite to authors or the articles, please excuse me, not the ill intention at all. But I have not been satisfied with the content or this book. I'm expressing this feeling to myself as an editor. The major reason is this book, as I said, is so rich that we could learn, we could develop our idea much and much. But just first step or half first step is the level of this book. But today, already 2 minutes passed, so I just mentioned, personally, I learned a lot, and I'd like to do a lot, many interesting aspects. Simply because of the time, I just mentioned 4 or 5 points only. Not I can't get in the content in detail, just the topic, the subjects. Number 1 is whenever we asked about the Buddhist social work practices, almost all monks or the people would say that we are doing a lot, and we have a very good Buddhist social work practices. So then I asked, then what are they? They could mention various good practices, but they are good practices. We are not sure how much, how broadly, or how, what to call, we cannot understand, we cannot catch the overview, the whole picture of those practices. It's certainly true that there are numerous good practices, but on the other hand, we have numerous temples, numerous monks and nuns. And how much have they been spreading in one society or in one country? So in that sense, this had one section named practice-based research. The real intention was wanted to catch the overview, what to call in English, I don't know. We'd like to catch, we'd like to draw the national scenery or the whole society scenery. That's number 1 point. And the number 2 is related to that. That good practice-based research was not satisfactorily succeeded. The authors or the researchers did a very serious work. I know they visited almost all temples in specific regions. Very hard work. But today's point is, I don't know how much they are satisfied. They could be satisfied by, for example, typical Western scientific social workers or the scholars, the researchers. What I'm talking is what you call the gap between Western typical scientific rules and regulations or the manners of writings, the research, and some works may not satisfy those requirements. But beyond that, some work might be very important. Particularly the practice-based research has a various meaning, and this also came from the Western colleagues, but and there are different meanings. But most basically speaking, we respect the practitioners in the field to originate the idea of the subjects and even methodology and analysis, everything. The university professors should not invade much. If we let them go, I don't know how much we can, and the word is not good, but control the whole quality of that research according to Western research scientific standards. That's a numerous discussion has to be continued. And number 3, this book provided excellent topics. One is Narada, Venerable Narada's, that Veva's understanding. I wish he or someone else could continue exploring that kind of aspect. Well, it's astonishing. It's very important. Or the last chapter, today, Venerable Somananda did not refer to, but the social conflict and the Buddhist social work. It's certainly conflict solution is one core aspect of the, I think, Buddhist discussions or the practices or the theories or the teachings, but that's another one stimulating or the crucially important topic. Without getting in more detail and the continuous exploration, we cannot reach certain point of Buddhist social work. There are many other topics, I think, but in this small book, we had already found 2 or 3 eye-opening topics, which we should continue. And the number 4, the Buddhist, let me see. This is a book on Sri Lanka, but we have been interested in Buddhist social work and the promotion of Buddhist social work. Then we always have the broad eye, broad perspective of understanding of Buddhist social work, or the broad, we have to, what it means is we care how much we could stick to one country, the Buddhist social work of one country. A lot of differences. And if we stick to only one country's discussion or the argument or the interest, we cannot develop, we can't explore the Buddhist social work as a whole. So that's a lot of interesting differences. Or for example, I don't know, this Sri Lanka, I don't know if Buddhist social work has to be conducted or carried out by only temples only Buddhist monks and nuns, or are they interested in some practices by Buddhist followers, for example? It depends on the country. The understanding is different. A lot of this, or the relationship between the Buddhism or the Buddhist social work and the country, the nation, the state, is another crucial topic. The numerous topics are there. So reading or editing this book, I cannot stop. It's a really rich content from which we can learn. Please find out, and I hope each person goes ahead. Sorry, I exceeded 10 minutes. Joseph Sensei, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments, Professor Akimoto. I can see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry because we've overrun our schedule. However, I think that's especially the last comment from Professor Akimoto was very important in showing us some directions for our further activities in the field of Buddhist social work. So thank you very much again for joining us today. I can see that today we have participants not only from Sri Lanka and Japan, but also from Thailand, India, and Mongolia. So thank you very much again. And this meeting record will be uploaded and shared on YouTube very soon, and we will let you know. And also some participants asked for PowerPoint slides and asked Reverend Somananda to share his slides with them. I think we can send it via a mailing list to be shared broadly with more and more people and colleagues who are involved or interested in the field of Buddhist social work. So that's all from ARIISW, all for today. So thank you very much again, and I hope we will meet each other very soon. Thank you very much again, and bye. Have a nice rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.